Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome to the 1972 Divisional Playoffs in Momentum Football. Just like it sounds, we are set for the division round of the playoffs. We'll take a look at our playoff picture as it stands now. In the AFC, the Cincinnati Bengals put a walloping on the Denver Broncos, to put it mildly, by a final score of 65-9. They are going to be playing the Pittsburgh Steelers tomorrow night. In the other AFC divisional playoff matchup, the Miami Dolphins are going to be hosting the Oakland Raiders, as the top four seeds manage to advance into the divisional playoff round. In the NFC, quite a different story, as both of the top two seeds in the wild card round both lost. The Dallas Cowboys defeated the Detroit Lions by a final score of 34-20. They are in Lambeau. They're going to be at Lambeau Field playing the Green Bay Packers. I expect that game on Tuesday night. As for tonight, however, the Minnesota Vikings defeated the San Francisco 49ers by a final score of 34-30. So the Vikings tonight are at RFK Stadium to take on the Washington Redskins, as Sorry for a small technical delay. As I was saying, Philip Anderson is first to join us at RFK Stadium. Pardon the small blip there of having to get the camera reset. Anywho, as we're getting everything set here, I'll set a small scene in that the Redskins actually won this game by a score of 11-5 in Week 1. But the stakes tonight are much higher, as the winner of this game will advance to the NFC Championship. So who will advance? Let's find out. If you're a regular on the channel, you know how this works by now. Redskins, Vikings, decision. Odds, the winning team will defer. Evens, the winning team will receive. That is a tie, but the winning team will receive the kickoff. Minnesota wins the coin toss, and they will elect to receive. To make my life easy, neither team can return a kickoff for a touchdown, or a punt for that matter, so we can skip that procedure for the entire game. There's the kick, and we are underway here at RFK Stadium. Once again, do not discount the Vikings, just because they're the 6th seed. We saw they survived the Niners and a nail-biter. Can they do the same thing to the 13-1 Redskins? Redskins are the 1 seed in the NFC. Minnesota the 6. It doesn't matter how you get to the dance. It just matters that you do. I'm going to adjust this slightly so I actually get the tower in shot. Everything, I'll move that just a little bit more. Okay. Looks like we got the tower here just off to the right of shot. So, as I was saying in that slight ramble, it only takes one. So, let's get the Minnesota Vikings their first drive of the first quarter. That will be ticking 8 time off the clock for the Vikings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 8 will be coming off of Minnesota's offense. 42 is going to be a key pass, and they're going to have to trust Fran Tarkenton's arm already. Let's see, all we need here is the red and white. So let's see what Tarkenton's able to do with this opening pass, with this key pass. That's a 31, and that will be a first down for the Vikings. Tarkenton manages to preserve the drive for the Vikings. So, as I'm dropping dice all over the place, let's see what the Vikings can do with new life on this drive. They're getting an offensive reading no matter what. Stop dropping dice, Phoenix. That will be another 5 time coming off the clock, but that's not going to be a reading Vikings fans are going to like. 2, 3, 4, 5. A 14 is going to be a fumble, and the Vikings are going to put that one on the ground. The Redskins can return a fumble for a touchdown. 11-13. and then a 23 and under on blue and yellow, if it's a 13. That's a 25, so no return on a fumble, but a 14 will be Verlin Biggs picking that one up for the Redskins. Stadium cheers. Yay! Last time the Redskins were on the board was for the demo game for this season, and they got trounced as we replayed Super Bowl VII for the demo game. Redskins now with their first drive of the first quarter. Let's see what they can do with the football. That'll be ticking another 6 time off the clock. As we go down to 8:20 to play in the quarter. A 5 is coming off of Minnesota's defense. And a 34. And the Redskins are going to have to punt that one away. Fortunately for the Redskins, no block. So no block, no return. Vikings can have a punt blocked, but that's not relevant to us right now. Vikings with their second drive of the first quarter after a key pass extended their first drive. We'll be ticking another 8 time off the clock. Down to 5:40 to play. 8 coming off Minnesota's offense, but a 23 is going to be a quarterback sack for a 7-yard loss. Stadium cheers. Yay! Vikings can have a punt blocked. Here comes Mike Eichshed out to punt this away. 11 on red and white, then a 43 and under on blue and yellow. 65 is definitely not going to be blocked. We are still at goose eggs past the halfway point of the first quarter. Let's see what the Redskins can do here. They will be ticking another 6 time off the clock. The 6 is coming off of Minnesota's defense with a 42, and the Redskins are going to have to punt that one away as well. And we are still scoreless here. I was expecting a defensive struggle on this one. It seems like that's what we're getting so far. Vikings already on their third drive of the first quarter. Who will break through? Honestly, will either team break through at this rate? Not with a roll like that. 5 time coming off the clock. Down to 2 minutes to play in the first quarter. 6 coming off Washington's defense. 21. And Tarkenton's going to throw that to a burgundy jersey, and that's going to be an interception. Washington can return interceptions for a touchdown. 11 to 12 and a 62 under on blue and yellow. That is a 36, so definitely no interception return. Pat Fisher will make that pick, though. Stadium cheers. Yay! Redskins need to take advantage of these turnovers. Let's see what the Redskins do with this drive in the first quarter. That will be 8 time coming off the clock. And that will already take us into the second quarter. And surprisingly, this game is still scoreless. We ticked off time already. 8 is coming off of Washington's offense. And a 54. That's going to be a touchdown run, and the Redskins are going to get on the board first. 52 will be Charlie Haraway taking that one in from 4 yards out. Kurt Knight coming out to try to add the extra point for the Redskins. He's an 11 to 65. That's a 13. Extra point is up, and it is good. And the Redskins get out to a 7-0 lead as it's a sea of burgundy and gold here at RFK Stadium. Stadium cheers. Yay! As the Redskins manage to make the Vikings pay for putting a ball on the ground. We've ticked off time for the kickoff. Vikings now driving with their first drive of the second quarter. 14 minutes to play. Vikings need to respond before they get buried by the Redskins. That seems promising. 8 time coming off the clock. And a 12 is coming off Washington's defense. And a 52 is going to be a field goal attempt. Here comes Fred Cox to try to get the Vikings their first points of the day. Cox is an 11-45 on the field goal. That's a 45 exactly. Kick is up, and it is good. And the Vikings will get on the board. 23-17 is a 40-yard kick. And the Vikings are on the board, but trailing 7-3. We'll take off time for the kickoff. 11 minutes to play in the second quarter. Washington getting their second drive of the second quarter. That will be 7 time coming off the clock. 8:40 to play. 8:40 in the quarter. 10 is coming off Washington's offense, but a 12 is going to be a fumble, and the Redskins are going to put that one on the ground. Minnesota can return a fumble on an 11-15, but the 15 takes a 36 and under on blue and yellow. That will not be returned for a touchdown. 55 will be Roy Winston falling on that one for the Vikings. Stadium groans. Ugh. Let's see if Minnesota now can take advantage of a Washington turnover. Not with a roll like that. 6 time coming off the clock. 6:40 to play in the second quarter. 9 coming off Minnesota's offense. But a 15 is going to be another interception, and Tarkenton once again throwing that to the wrong jersey. Stadium cheers. Yay! Let's see if they jump into this one. 13, almost, but not quite. 65 will be Ted Vactor making the second interception for the Redskins today. Redskins now looking at their third drive of the second quarter. I'm sure Phillip is very much on the edge of his seat tonight. Although he may be happy with that roll. 5 time coming off the clock. Down to 5 minutes to play in the second quarter. 6 coming off Minnesota's defense. 14, and Kilmer's going to throw that to the wrong jersey on his own. Stadium groans. Ugh. 11-13 for Minnesota. 43 and under on blue and yellow if it's a 13. That will not be returned for a touchdown. 45 will be Lonnie Warwick making that pick. Which team can take advantage of the turnovers? That will probably be the team that advances to the NFC Championship. Vikings still trailing by 4. Tarkenton with the ball, Vikings driving. What happens on this drive? Probably nothing good from the look of that. That'll be 6 time coming off the clock. Down to 3 minutes to play in the second quarter. 6 coming off Washington's defense. 43, Minnesota will have to punt. We'll see if the punt gets blocked with Eichheid coming out. And the yellow die didn't go through, but that wouldn't have been blocked anyway. Washington now coming out for their next drive of the second quarter. Kilmer trying to forget that interception. And apparently he's settling into it a little bit. 4 time coming off the clock. That'll be down to 1:40 in the quarter. 3 coming off Minnesota's defense. 13, that's going to be another fumble, and the Redskins are going to put that one on the ground. Let's see if Minnesota can return this one for a touchdown. Jumping on that one is going to be Nate Wright. He's going to take it. He's at the 20. 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Vikings take the lead. Stadium barfs. Blah. And the Vikings jump out to a 9-7 lead pending the extra point. Cox coming out. Cox will actually automatically add the extra point because he's an 11-66. And the Vikings all of a sudden find themselves with a 10-7 lead with with a minute 40 left to play in the quarter. We've ticked off time for the kickoff. Washington probably looking at that one as a free play because they will receive the second half kickoff. Let's see what the Redskins can do with this drive, though. They will tick off 9 time off the clock, and that will take us 2, 3, 4, 5. Bang! That will take us to halftime. And at halftime, we have quite the game here. Yes, just what Minnesota needed going into the half since Washington will receive the second half kickoff. Minnesota currently holding a 10-7 lead going into the locker room. And as usual, I will take my small break after I get things ready for the second half of the game. Plenty of great stuff coming up on the channel yet. And our most immediate concern will be tomorrow night as we move over to the AFC for the first of the divisional playoff games. The Pittsburghs will be at Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh as the Pittsburgh Steelers will be hosting the Cincinnati Bengals. The early days of the Steel Curtain, but still a very formidable unit waiting in Pittsburgh for the Bengals. And yes, this is a great game. We'll tick off the time for the kickoff. And Washington trailing by 3 coming out of the locker room. Let's see what the Redskins can do with the opening drive of the second half. Not a lot from the looks of it. 7 time coming off the clock. 6 coming off Minnesota's defense, and a 26 will force the Redskins to punt. And of course the Vikings can't block or return punts for touchdown. Minnesota now gets their first drive of the third quarter with an almost shocking 10-7 lead. And yes, Pittsburgh-Cincinnati is going to be a great one as well. The Bengals have a tough ask, though, going into Pittsburgh against the Steel Curtain. But we'll find out what happens here. Anyway, coming back to RFK Stadium, Minnesota with the drive. Tarkenton leads the team. Here's the result. Taking 8 time off the clock. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 is coming off Minnesota's offense. 55 is going to be a field goal attempt, and here comes Cox to try to extend the Vikings' lead. The Vikings would love to get a little bit of insurance. Once again, Cox is an 11-45 on the field goal. That's a 16. That kick is up, and it is good. Let's see, 6, 12, and 17 is 29 yards. And the Vikings now open up a 13-7 lead over Washington. And the Redskins fans at RFK Stadium are panicking as they're potentially watching a number 1 seed go to waste in the NFC for the Redskins. We'll tick off the time for the kickoff, and the Redskins will get their next drive of the third quarter. This is the Redskins' second drive. Ticking off another 8 time. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9 coming off Washington's offense, but a 22 is going to be a quarterback sack, and Kilmer is going to lose control of that one. For a 10-yard loss. Stadium barfs. Bleh. Unfortunately for the Redskins, no problems on the punt. Minnesota now with their second drive of the third quarter. Minnesota leading by 6. Still want more breathing room. Let's see what the Vikings can do with this drive. Not much. That'll be 5 time coming off the clock. Down to 5 minutes remaining in the quarter. 4 coming off Washington's defense. And a 14 is going to be an interception, and Tarkenton is going to throw that to a burgundy jersey yet again. That is now the 1, 2, 3, 4th turnover by the Vikings. Technically the first, well, let's roll the drive and we'll talk a little bit about that first board game for Washington. Fortunately for the Vikings, they can't return the interception for a touchdown, but a 52 will be Chris Hamburger picking that one off. So yes and no, it's the first board game for Washington. It's the first board game to count, essentially, but Washington was on the board all the way back for the demo game before I started this season. So maybe the Redskins having a little bit of stage fright, potentially, for a board game that actually means something in the season. We'll find out, though. We'll see what the Redskins can do with this third drive of the third quarter. Probably not a lot, though. 10 time coming off the clock. It's a grinding drive, though. 12 coming off Minnesota's defense, and a 46 is going to be a field goal attempt. Kurt Knight coming out with a very suspect leg. He's an 11 to 35. Let's see what the Redskins can do with this kick. That's a 31. Kick is up, and it is good. Let's see, 3, 8, 17 is 25 yards. So a chip shot. As the Redskins will pull back to within 3. 13 to 10. 6-point lead is, of course, not safe in the slightest in momentum football. We'll take off time for the Vikings. This drive will almost certainly take us into the fourth quarter. Unless it's something lightning quick, which is very possible. That will take us into the fourth quarter, and it's not a result Phillips going to be happy to see. I can guarantee you that. 7 time coming off the clock. 8 coming off Minnesota's offense. But a 12, Tarkenton is going to put that one on the ground yet again. Let's see if the Redskins can return it for a touchdown. They cannot, but falling on it will be Darren Talbert. Stadium cheers. Yay! Redskins get their first drive of the quarter. Let's see what they do with this one. The Washington Redskins are very much in it, but they are running out of time. That will be 6 time coming off the clock for the Redskins. 5 coming off Minnesota's defense. 35. The Redskins will have to punt that one away. Momentum stays the same, and we're going to have a nail biter, it looks like, in this one. Minnesota now with their second drive of the fourth quarter. 12 minutes away from the NFC Championship, but only a 3-point lead. Anything can happen between now and then. Vikings have the drive. Here's the result. That will probably make Vikings fans very happy. 7 time coming off the clock. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Down to 9:40 to play. 4 coming off Washington's defense. 63. That is going to be a touchdown run. Oh, yes. Thank you. It is the fourth quarter. I have, again, kind of got into the rhythm of the game there. So, where was I? Oh, yes. We ticked off time already. 4 is coming off Washington's defense. 63. That's a touchdown run. Stadium groans. Ugh. We'll see who scored this touchdown for the Vikings, and I will adjust the score in a second, so no need to yell at me on that. That will be Oscar Reed taking that one in from 2 yards out. And Cox will add the extra point automatically. As the Vikings now have some breathing room as the score is 20-10 in favor of the Vikings. Stadium groans. Ugh. Let's see, that came in the third quarter. Okay, so looks like each team picked up a field goal. I'm just updating the box score. Redskins now have some breathing room. Vikings now have breathing room. 20-10 in the fourth quarter. Redskins need to get something going. This one's very much been a defensive struggle like I expected it to be. Redskins with the drive. We have 9:20 to play in the quarter. That will be 8 time coming off the clock for the Redskins. 6:40 to play. 8 coming off Washington's offense. 54 is going to be a much-needed touchdown run. Stadium cheers. Yay! 61 will be Herb Mulkey taking that in from 4 yards out. Knight looking to add the extra point on an 11-65. Kick is up. It is good. And we have a nail-biter here. 20-17 in favor of the Vikings. And that ball is going to go deep. The Redskins are going to trust their defense to get the ball back to them. Vikings need to pick up some points here. This is very much anybody's game. We have just over 6 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. Vikings driving. Here's the drive. Not something that's going to make Vikings fans happy. 6 time coming off the clock. Down to 4:20 to play. 7 coming off the team with momentum. That's Washington's defense. 11 is going to be a fumble. And the Vikings are going to put that one on the ground again. Redskins trying to return the fumble. Getting on that one is going to be Verlin Biggs. He's going to take it from the 5, and he's going to run that in for the touchdown. Stadium cheers. Yay! And the Redskins are going to lead for the first time in this game. It is now 23-20, pending the extra point. Here comes Knight to try to add the extra point. And it is up. It is good. And for the first time all game, the Redskins now have a 24-20 lead. And we are just over 4 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. We'll tick off time for the Vikings. Vikings are driving. Redskins gamble to trust the defense to get the ball back. Not only paid off, it gave them the lead. Vikings trying to get that touchdown back. Trying to get to the NFC Championship. Can the Vikings get this drive off? Let's see what happens. That will be 9 time coming off the clock. 8 and 9. 10 coming off Minnesota's offense. 34. The Vikings are going to have to punt that one away, and that will probably do it. We'll roll to see if the punt gets blocked. Punt does not get blocked. And as we do have only 4 time blocks left in this one, I'm going to enact the house rule, and Washington is going to come out. Wow. It almost doesn't feel right for this close. It almost doesn't feel right to just enact the house rule on victory formation, but logically, I think the Redskins would probably enact the house rule on victory formation. Decisions. Like I said, logically, you probably would come out in victory formation on this one. I'm deciding if we want to go with the exciting route or the logical route. Let's go. Yeah, we got to go with the logical route here. The way both these teams are playing, I think Washington just takes the win here. So Washington will enact the house rule as we are inside of 4 time blocks left. Washington will come out in victory formation. They will kneel down, and that will be the game. So the Minnesota Vikings, so the Washington Redskins actually snatched victory from the jaws of defeat. No, the decision here, Philip, was on, the Vikings did kick it deep already. They had no choice on that one. But the Redskins got the ball back, and since we were inside 4 time blocks left, I am enacting the house rule. Like I said, it's too logical for me. The Redskins, I think, would just take a knee, get out of this one, and take the win. So the Redskins are going to take a knee, and they're going to win this one by a final score of 24-20, as the Redskins snatch victory from the jaws of defeat, and the Redskins will advance to the NFC Championship game. That was a very close one. Could very easily have gone either way. 5 turnovers definitely did not help. Actually, how many was it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 turnovers did the Vikings absolutely no favors in this one. So, yeah. Which means the Washington Redskins will advance to the NFC Championship game. Whether Green Bay or Dallas comes out of the other divisional playoff game, we know the NFC Championship will be played here at RFK Stadium. And that will do it for tonight's game of Momentum Football. The Redskins escape a defensive struggle with the Vikings with a 24-20 victory. Tomorrow night, we'll be back to the AFC and over at Three Rivers Stadium, as the Pittsburgh Steelers will host the Cincinnati Bengals. After that, on Wednesday, we'll be debuting a new Historic Wings game on the channel as we play SOE Lysander. And yes, indeed, too many turnovers for the Vikings. That probably wouldn't have flown in the NFC Championship game either. Anyway, Wednesday playing SOE Lysander from Historic Wings. Saturday we'll have Mystical Munchies out of the official... We'll have the dessert on Mystical Munchies out of the official Catan cookbook as we make homemade fudge squares. Sunday, actually, homemade fudge bricks, I think it is. Sunday next week, slight change in programming. Cthulhu Death May Die was scheduled on the channel, but instead, I was going to do Relay Rising, but since I don't have what I need for Relay Rising, instead we're going to go back to our freeform adventure of Call of Cthulhu, as Nick Larson has been captured by Serpent People. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care everyone.